This is Matador News.
Good afternoon, and welcome to Matador News. I'm Nathan Hoffman.
And I'm Chris Escobar.
Anaheim officials will release a statement later today about an officer involved in a shooting. An LAPD off-duty officer fired shots at teenagers after a 13-year-old boy allegedly threatened the officer. The officer has been placed on administrative leave until investigation is completed.
An unborn baby was killed in a shooting in South Los Angeles that left the mother in critical condition. The mother underwent surgery this morning. The shooting occurred early in the morning. There is no information on who shot the woman or why.
A bill has been introduced designed to deal with rising tuition costs for CSU and community college students. The bill would freeze tuition costs at December 2016's levels. The freeze would remain until the end of 2019 and the 2020 academic year. The Student Protection Act is in its early stages of development and will be considered by the state legislature and eventually Governor Brown.
San Jose residents are upset that they weren't alerted about the floods that overwhelmed their neighborhoods this week. The floods caused excessive damage to the house and roads.
The emergency evacuation from the city only came after it was too late to go.
Nobody messaged us any way telling us that the surge was coming and it was worse than it was and that it was going to be really bad. If it had been, we would have moved more things upstairs. We would have been better prepared.
San Jose Mayor Sam Licardio addressed people's concerns.
If the first time that a resident is aware that they need to get out of a home is when they see a firefighter in a boat, then clearly there's been a failure.
The mayor also said that he would try to better understand what the failure was. Many residents haven't been able to go to home yet. The rain is expected until early Saturday.
California is out of extreme drought conditions after the constant rainstorms. The U.S. Drought Monitor released a map that showed 62% of the state is drought-free. This is the first time since August 2013 that the state is out of extreme drought conditions.
A Harvard-Harris poll found that 80% of Americans oppose sanctuary cities. More than 2,000 voters took the online poll. There are more than 31 sanctuary cities in the U.S. The poll also found 52% of voters support the Trump administration's proposal to build the wall and hire more immigration officers. 39% of those surveyed were Democrats and 30% were Republicans.
An online fundraiser has raised over $100,000 to help repair a Jewish cemetery outside of St. Louis. A Launch Good webpage was set up by members of the Muslim community. The campaign was created to repair the cemetery after 180 gravestones were vandalized over the weekend. The goal of the fundraiser is to unite the Muslim and Jewish communities to fight bigotry.
President Trump met with some of America's top CEOs at the White House this morning to discuss world trade and U.S. manufacturing. The deals
we have with other countries are unbelievably bad. We don't have any good deals. In fact, I'm trying to find a country where we actually have a surplus of trade as opposed to everything's a deficit.
Trump also highlighted the U.S. trade deficit with Mexico and China. He also wants to put these CEOs to work restoring the country's global trade dominance and bringing manufacturing back to the U.S. Trump also said he tried to squeeze more money out of government contracts and punish companies that outsource their jobs. Prominent companies represented at the meeting included General Electric, Dow Chemical Company, Lockheed Martin Corporation, and Caterpillar Incorporated. The lobbying group for U.S. corporate executives released a letter this morning voicing its concerns about the economic impacts of Trump's trade and immigration policies.
Iraqi forces say they have regained full control of the airport in Mosul from ISIS militants. This marks the latest victory for Iraqi forces in an operation to push ISIS from the key city. The airport has mostly been destroyed by ISIS forces, but it creates an access point into the western area of the city. ISIS has held control of the airport since 2014. Iraqi forces used heavy artillery to storm the airport. The victory against ISIS came after Iraqi forces declared the eastern part of Mosul under their control in late January. They have vowed to continue the fight until the entire city is liberated.
Hundreds of students have blocked the entrance of their schools in Paris in response to a police officer allegedly raping a young black man earlier this month. This is the latest of many anti-police protests in Paris since the 22-year-old man known as Theo was reportedly raped with a police baton during an arrest on February 2nd. Police say 21 people were arrested in the demonstrations that reportedly drew crowds of approximately 1,000 people. All 4 officers involved in the arrest have been suspended and charged with aggravated assault. One officer was also charged with rape, according to the Interior Ministry.
Riots broke out in an immigrant suburb of Sweden after President Trump warned of immigrant-related problems. The Stockholm suburb of Rinkeby remains unrested after police made arrests that underscored Sweden's immigration surge. Sweden embarked on a social experiment that wasn't thought out well, since immigration was already at elevated levels with refugees from Europe and the Middle East.
Malaysia has requested the help of the International Criminal Police Organization for Interpol to capture the remaining 4 suspects wanted in the death of Kim Jong-nam, the half-brother of North Korean leader Kim Jong-un. The officials have requested an interview with a North Korean embassy official and an employee of North Korea's official airline. Kim Jong-nam was killed 3 days ago when he was attacked and subsequently poisoned by 2 female assailants. Authorities have taken both female attackers into custody along with 2 male accomplices. The 4 suspects wanted by authorities are all North Korean.
An abandoned pit bull has found a new home with a New York fire station. The dog, Ashley, was severely underweight, covered in cigarette burns, and deprived of food and water when she was initially rescued from a New York crack house. Ashley was rescued by the Foster-based No More Pain Rescue Organization nearly a year ago. Now Ashley goes on ride-alongs with the firefighters and is reportedly on her way to being a fully healthy pup. Ashley even has her own Instagram account with 28,000 followers that firefighters update with her daily adventures.
Now we'll go to Brianna Burnett with entertainment.
The Oscars are this Sunday in LA, and La La Land is favored to take home the most awards. La La Land has 14 nominations, including for Best Picture. Moonlight is its biggest competitor with 8 nominations. Golden Globe winners Denzel Washington and Viola Davis are favorites in the Best Actor award categories. Lindsay Lohan says she was racially profiled for the first time in her life. Lohan was wearing a headscarf inside London's Heathrow Airport when she was asked to take it off by a security official. Lohan complied, but says she was shocked by the demand. Lohan says she is afraid of what it means for other women being profiled for wearing a headscarf. She said security officials apologized to her once they recognized who she was. Rapper Jay-Z has been nominated for Songwriters Hall of Fame. The hip-hop mogul will become the first rapper inducted into the Songwriters Hall. Other inductees include Kenneth Babyface Edmonds, Terry Lewis, Max Martin, and Jimmy Jam. Only 5 writers are inducted each year and can be eligible to be nominated after writing hit songs for at least 20 years. The songwriters will be inducted at the 48th Annual Induction and Awards Dinner on June 15th in New York. President Trump's inauguration singer Jackie Evancho and her transgender sister have asked to meet with the president. The 16-year-old singer went on Twitter requesting to meet with Trump regarding his lifting of transgendered bathroom guidelines in public schools. Evancho says the lifted guidelines were personal.
When I heard the news, I was kind of just thinking about my sister and the things that she's gone through and the struggles that we've all had to deal with.
Evancho's older sister, Juliet, is transgender.
In order to make a huge decision like that, you need people who live it every day. So I feel like it was a little rushed.
Evancho hopes their personal experience will change Trump's decision.
I pretty much just kind of, I guess, enlighten him on our personal experiences with what we've seen, what we've heard, what we've dealt with.
It's still unclear if the meeting between the 3 will occur. Political radio host, television host Alan Colmes has died. Colmes was best known for the former co-host of Sean Hannity on the Fox News. He was 66. Fox spokesperson confirmed Colmes' death Thursday. Fox also aired a tribute to Colmes, narrated by Hannity. A statement from Colmes' family was released, saying that he died after a brief illness. The cause of Colmes' death has not yet been released. Colmes leaves behind his wife, Jocelyn Crowley, who has asked for family privacy during this time. And that's your entertainment. I'm Brianna Burnett. Nathan, back to you.
An El Sereno woman was killed in a hit-and-run by 2 vehicles last night. The woman's 2-year-old son suffered numerous injuries, but none are believed to be life-threatening. The LA City Council is offering a $50,000 reward for information leading to a conviction in the case.
SpaceX aborted its mission to dock a capsule on the International Space Station. The aircraft was scheduled to deliver supplies, but navigation error prevented from doing so.
Falcon 9 to the space station at 39.
The capsule was within a mile of the space station when the docking was scrubbed.
Vehicle now going transonic.
SpaceX will attempt to dock later today.
Now let's go to Henry Guembes with sports news.
Budapest has withdrawn its bid to host the 2024 Summer Olympics, leaving LA and Paris as the frontrunners. The Hungarian government believed it had a small chance of outbidding the two metropolitan giants. The International Olympic Committee will choose a host in September. The CSUN women's basketball team will play tonight at Cal State Fullerton. CSUN will host defending champs UC Riverside on Saturday. The Matadors are currently riding an 8-game win streak after defeating UC Irvine and Hawaii earlier this week. The team has an overall record of 15 wins and 11 losses. It is currently 8-4 in the Big West Conference. The Lady Matadors are in 4th place, but just 1 game out of 2nd. The Cal State Northridge men's basketball team plays at UC Davis tonight at 7. The Matadors are tied at 4th place with Cal State Fullerton in the Big West Conference. But CSUN is just 1 game behind UC Davis for 2nd and 2 games behind UC Irvine for 1st. The Matadors will play Saturday night at UC Irvine. A new challenge at a ski resort in St. Moritz has horse racing on a frozen lake, but the white turf snow race has trainers unsure of how the horses will react to the new environment. Trainers are also developing a special horseshoe to help with the winter conditions. And that's what's going on in sports news today. I am Henry Guembes. Chris, back to you.
Manatees have been taken off the endangered species list after 6,000 manatees were seen off Florida's coast. Florida's Fish and Wildlife Research Institute Gil McGray said the high counts underscored the importance of warm water habitat to manatees. The annual count from the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service prompted the reclassification of the West Indian manatee from endangered to threatening. The manatee remains protected under the Marine Mammal Protection Act.
Thank you for watching Matador News. I'm Nathan Hoffman.
And I'm Chris Escobar. Have a great afternoon.